The 9th annual OK Mozart Music Festival is off and running in Bartlesville tonight.
Yep, all the festivities got going at about 6:30 this evening. They'll be going on until the 20th. Now, over the last decade, OK Mozart's gone through a lot of changes, some growing pains, all festivals do. But during all that time, one thing has remained the same. That's the commitment to quality. And tonight's Around Tulsa, we wanted to pay tribute to some of the people who make OK Mozart happen. For nearly a decade, the stage at the Bartlesville Community Center has been graced by some of the most talented musicians in the world. And for the next week and a half, they're back. Ransom Wilson is the festival's artistic director. It's a job he likes.
For us New Yorkers, this is the high point of the season. I always know that if I'm having a bad day in New York, I can always call and talk to people in Oklahoma who are always having a better day than we are.
The featured pianist here is Christopher O'Reilly. It's his first visit to the festival, but he says it certainly won't be his last. Not just for the artistic integrity, for the festival's flavor, or for Ransom, who brought Christopher here in the first place. He says he loves the concert hall.
It's a fantastic place to play. I'm just shocked and amazed. I mean, I'm here, and this beautiful community center is very much like another hall that I know and love in Tempe, Arizona, built by Frank Lloyd Wright. This looks similar, but they got all the kinks out on this one.
If you happen to go this week, don't miss the exhibit in the gallery. The work is from Western American artist Richard Schmidt. And above all, don't be surprised to find all of this here.
What's thrilling is to be recognized around the world as having as high quality as you can have anywhere. And that is the truth.
OK Mozart is now known around the world, and we've just shown you some of the reasons why, but don't think of it as an island of culture out here on the prairie. The organizers will be the first to tell you its success is tied directly to an ongoing commitment to the arts here in Oklahoma.
That is one of my favorite festivals, and the concert in Walla Rock is to die for.
Yeah, it's
great.
Great stuff.
KOTV6 Tulsa. This is the News on 6, the 6 o'clock edition, with Clayton Vaughn, Beth Ringel, meteorologist Jim Giles, and John Wall's Sports.
Good evening again, and welcome to Bartlesville, the home, at least this evening and this week, of OK Mozart, despite the polka music in the background.
Right, perfect timing. It's a major arts festival that draws top talent from all around the world. In addition to big names like Betty Buckley and Itzhak Perlman, literally hundreds of other performers will put on concerts completely free for your enjoyment.
But it's really much more than classical music, because there is art here and architecture, a chance to learn about the people who built this beautiful oil town and see the treasures that they've left behind.
And it's actually too much to tell you right off the top of the show, but we'll be back to tell you all about it a little bit later. First,
though, let's go back to Glenda Sylvie at the station in Tulsa for today's top news. Glenda?
Thank you, Beth and Clayton.
Okay, thank you very much, Mike. The OK Mozart Concert and Festival here in Bartlesville is in its 9th season. We're downtown right now. But this is not the only Mozart festival in the world. Perhaps the very largest is in Salzburg in Germany. Channel 6 reporter Scott Thompson will introduce us now to one Austrian woman who has come all the way from Salzburg to see how it's done right here in Oklahoma.
This is the OK Mozart concert most never see. The long hours of rehearsal in the basement back rooms. Even practice sounds sweet. It's a year-round effort to plan for these few days of June, something Sophie Angermuller has discovered. The 22-year-old shares her hometown with Mozart, Salzburg, Austria. It's there her father runs the largest Mozart concert series in the world, along with a Mozart Research Center. It's here Sophie is working behind the scenes, running errands, helping the artists, working with the 500 OK Mozart volunteers. She really likes them.
all the volunteers help together, but you would never ever find that in Europe because people are so warm and they try to help each other, and I think it's really great.
It's Mozart's music that warms Sophie's heart, that makes the hectic pace and long miles from home worth putting up with.
People get together and be happy, and you get a good feeling out of his music, I think.
Tonight, Sophie is part of the opening ceremonies, her modern life left behind for a few hours beneath a powdered wig. Just one of the many roles she's playing this month in Bartlesville. Does Mozart sound the same in Bartlesville as it does in Salzburg?
Sure it does. It really does.
In Bartlesville, Scott Thompson, Channel 6 News.
Now, if Scott's story has piqued your interest in coming out to OK Mozart, you'll be glad to know that there are still some tickets available for many of the 8 major concerts, or I should say some. Tonight, the James Sage Symphonic Sousa Band plays at 8:15, and that performance is absolutely free. Tickets are still available for Saturday's Palace Concert, conducted by Joseph Silverstein, music director for the Utah Symphony. You can still get tickets for the Salon Concert Tuesday night. Betty Buckley, the famous Broadway singer, performs here Thursday. Friday, there's a festival concert featuring flutist Eugenia Zuckerman and harpist Nancy Allen. Now, those are the biggest concerts, all here at the Community Center, a hall renowned for its acoustics. Now, if you want tickets, you need to call this number, 336-9800. Seats for the shows I mentioned will cost about $20. Now, there are also less expensive chamber concerts in the afternoon, and then there are free concerts at the Price Tower right over there that you can see every morning, Monday through Friday of next week. There are dozens of other events throughout Bartlesville, tours of historic homes. There are art shows all over town, demonstrations of all sorts, and many of these events are free as well. Beth will be back here at OK Mozart Sunday night for one of those events, and that's the Equestrian Music Festival. And Beth, I don't know, is that horses playing music or what is it?
Clayton, that is almost a horse ballet. It's going to be at the Starview Farm. It's going to be from 6:30 to 8:30. Champagne will be served, and I understand it's an incredibly sight to see. Very beautiful. Now, for all of the amazing sights here at OK Mozart, we have to thank a very wonderful and endearing lady, Nan Buehlinger, who is the artistic administrator. Do I have that right?
Artistic. Yes, that's right. Thank you.
We want to give to you this redbud tree, and
how nice.
Just to show our commitment to Bartlesville and to thank you and hope that you can plant it somewhere here and think of us, and a bronze plaque from KOTV to just say that we thank Bartlesville and all of your work for doing such a wonderful, fine job.
Thank you so much. That's wonderful. I'm just delighted. It's wonderful having you here. You brought the sunshine, and that's what we needed. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nan Buehlinger. Okay, back to you. Oh, wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. T Sports is what I'm hearing. That's right. How could you forget about John Walls? John is over there, and he's going to have a whole slate of sports coming up next.
What was that?
I don't know. Someone dropped their barbecue.
Yeah, right. Now, welcome back to Bartlesville, where the festival OK Mozart is just getting started this evening.
I know, that's what's so much fun. A lot of people come here for the music and for the art, but the inside scoop is the musicians from the Solizzi Orchestra in New York come here for the food, like the barbecue that we smell and you see.
That's right.
Made only here in Oklahoma. Dink's Barbecue is the draw, and the man who makes it is Jim Kerr joining us now. Thank you, Jim. It smells wonderful.
Boy, it really does, doesn't it?
What makes your barbecue so special?
Well, we've just got a tremendous following of our New York artists that come out here. We've been a part of the festival now for 3 or 4 years, and they just come to town and are glad to have a bit of the Oklahoma flair here with our barbecue. And they come down to the restaurant. We cater a number of different events around town with the barbecue, and we've just ended up being kind of a part of the festival in that respect.
Well, show us what you have here.
Well, we just brought out some brisket here. We've got, of course, our spare ribs, some chicken, and I'm displaying some of my sauce here. We do virtually everything at the restaurant. We bring it out here in our little concession wagon and just sell it for the public.
It says
You
up
talk
here,
and I'll talk. I'll hold the sauce.
it says Cafe Dinkler. Now, would you like to explain
That's
that?
just a little play on words. Apparently, there's a real famous cafe in Salzburg, Austria, called Cafe Winkler. So we just played off the name of the restaurant, which is Dinks, and call it Cafe Dinkler.
And is it true you actually ship some of this barbecue to New York?
We have a tremendous group of people we ship the barbecue to, actually worldwide. We've shipped it to Canada and Mexico and all over the United States. So we've got a great following, and especially back on the East Coast. It goes back there probably once a week in different forms, one way or another, whether it be Air Express or just the sauce will go just general delivery.
You know, on the sauce, I'm looking here for a recipe of the sauce, and there doesn't seem to be one, Jim.
And as you know, Clay, most people don't display their recipe, just the general ingredients.
Is it mild or is it hot?
This is what they call generally a sweet sauce.
Oh,
the
that's
tomato-based sauce with a lot of sugar and just other ingredients from there. But it's a recipe that came down, in fact, from a family here in Bartlesville.
Well, Jim, you're going to have a great week here, and I know you're going to have a lot of fun, and we really appreciate the taste of those New York musicians
Well, thank
we've
you.
discovered.
And we greatly appreciate Channel 6 coming up here and being here today. It's just great to see y'all. Thank you.
Well, that's the news. We want to thank you for sharing your time tonight here in Bartlesville.
And we'll see you back at the studio tonight at 10. Good night.
Good night. Well, the flowers are in bloom and the music is in the air up north as the 1993 OK Mozart Festival got underway today in Bartlesville. Well, it's not Mozart, but it was a great day of great music and great food, such as the ribs you see on the cooker here. It's also a day that Channel 6 was happy to share with the people of Bartlesville. We broadcast our 6 o'clock news live from Bartlesville. The weather, perfect as well. Question is, I suppose now, will it hold for the weekend? Stay tuned. Jim is here to tell us if it will.
We missed. We leave you tonight with more sights and sounds of OK Mozart, which is in full swing in Bartlesville this weekend.
Thank you for sharing your time. Good night.
Good night.
And in news a little bit closer to home, people from all over the world are in Bartlesville to listen to some great music. The reason? The OK Mozart International Festival. Tonight was a very special performance, and as Scott Gordon reports, the festival is music to to the ears of the local economy.
The music is drawing quite a crowd. This year, people from 40 different states and several other countries are descending on Bartlesville to hear this.
Welcome to Mozart.
In 9 short years, OK Mozart has become something of an international draw. One woman came from North Carolina.
Well, he's his music is very melodic, and it kind of takes you back to another age a little bit.
Another woman drove an hour from Kansas.
I think it's his music and the tradition of, and which will never die. You know, your classical music lives on and on and on.
People come not just for the music, but also the Mozart memorabilia, such as this booklet on the Mozart diet, complete with recipes from his era, like mushrooms Mannheim. The visitors spend a lot of money during their stay. In fact, the festival pumps an estimated $9 million into the economy here.
To bring the world here and to do something that's a national event here naturally would encourage tourism, and certainly anytime you bring out of city or out of state money in, you do make a big economic impact.
Some of the out-of-staters may be surprised to find such culture and class here. What a pleasant surprise it must be. Scott Gordon, Oklahoma's News 8, Bartlesville.
The OK Mozart Festival runs through June 20th, but only 4 concerts are not sold out.
The OK Mozart Festival is more than 10 days of music by the masters. And it's a boom to business as well. More than 50,000 people from 40 states and several foreign countries will attend the Bartlesville Festival, which began Thursday. And local economists say they'll leave millions of dollars behind. Here's what some people expect to spend this weekend.
Well, all in all, I imagine we spend close to $1,000 each year. It's well worth it. It's what we call our big bash for the year.
Well, it's probably going to be about $500 by the time we have the hotel and food and some other entertainment, and then the concert tickets.
There's not an empty room tonight at the Hotel Phillips, and restaurants like Dink's Pit Barbecue are cashing in as well. The 9th Annual Mozart Festival runs through Sunday.
Thank you, Mike. In each of its 9 years, the OK Mozart Festival has attracted world-class musicians to Bartlesville. The warm, friendly atmosphere is one reason why they come, and as Rick Wells reports tonight, another reason is it's an excellent place to play.
The Celesti New York Orchestra is back for its 9th year as orchestra in residence at the OK Mozart Festival. It's rehearsing for one of its many festival performances, rehearsing at one of the festival's principal attractions. One of the big attractions of the OK Mozart Festival, at least from a performer standpoint, one of the reasons why so many big-name performers are so easy to get to the festival, is this auditorium. And one of its big attractions is its acoustics. I'm here on the stage with no microphone. The microphone and the camera are 28 rows back in the back of the hall. And when the room is tuned...
Any specifications of
You mean
any...
like a piano tuner would tune a piano, you can tune the room?
Yes, sir. We can tune the entire room.
Don Beaumont is with the Civic Center and has been since it was built in 1982. The room is tuned, he says, by raising and lowering a series of retractable curtains hung around the inside walls of the concert hall. The curtains change the way the room reacts to different kinds of music being played on the stage.
Like you'd want a different sound to a Mozart piece than you would to a Wagner piece, you know, which is a lot more horn, drum.
The curtains are not the only feature which makes this auditorium so special.
The orchestra shell pulls forward on air. The entire shell will actually float off of the floor instead of running on tracks. So you get a better seal with it and truer sound.
And does the orchestra and do the soloists like the way this all works together? You bet.
It's a wonderful place to play. We can hear ourselves on stage, and I think from sitting in the audience, we can
individual people on stage also.
And the audience knows not only are the instruments in tune with each other, the room is in tune with the instruments. In Bartlesville at OK Mozart, Rick Wells, Channel 6 News.
Well, I'm glad to find all that out. It does sound remarkable.
That is fascinating.
Most interesting. Thank you, Mike. The OK Mozart Music Festival continues in Bartlesville this week with visitors from nearly 50 states and 5 countries. One of the featured artists is pianist Christopher O'Reilly, whose reputation as a concert and recording artist is growing worldwide. We talked with O'Reilly during one of his rehearsal breaks. Christopher O'Reilly is rehearsing a work by his favorite pianist, the Russian composer Rachmaninoff, the Suite No. 2 for 2 pianos, which he performs with San Francisco Symphony pianist Robin Sutherland at OK Mozart this year. O'Reilly calls the work a romantic outpouring in which the pianist must try to make 2 instruments sound like one. O'Reilly says Rachmaninoff had huge hands, a great mind, and great technique, characteristics O'Reilly says are necessary for piano mastery. But he also says Rachmaninoff wore his heart on his sleeve. It is that quality, O'Reilly believes, that enables one to excel at the piano, an instrument he calls a rather impersonal machine.
You can determine how fast or how loud, how hard you hit something. But basically, it's a very sophisticated machine. And so the illusion, creating the illusion that it's a musical instrument, or when people say that that has a beautiful singing sound, you're basically pulling the wool over their eyes. And it's a real task. It's a real challenge to make a piano, which is basically not a singing instrument, into a singing instrument.
O'Reilly vividly remembers his first lesson in kindergarten. He took to the piano immediately and knew early on that he wanted to perform. Growing up in Chicago, attending concerts frequently, and going to a school with a quality music program built a strong love in O'Reilly for classical music. But he says American young people aren't listening to it. School music programs are being cut, and concerts often seem stiff and intimidating. O'Reilly believes it's his mission to try to change that.
My job is to try and make people realize that you don't have to be terribly sophisticated to understand this music and appreciate this music. The music is beautiful, and it doesn't matter whether you are a conservatory student or whether you are coming in off the street. A great performance will always elicit the same reaction.
O'Reilly says he tries to fulfill his mission by performing in a variety of places and challenging situations. Playing at festivals such as OK Mozart enables him to listen and learn from other musicians, helping him to achieve his primary goal as an artist, to change and grow. He continues to work hard at the instrument, but says that ultimately, the heart plays the piano.
There are things that are expressible only through music, and that there are no words to express. It's not the same as just kind of pouring your heart out to someone. There's something in the music that's even more palpably connected between a performer and an audience, and music is the only way to achieve that.
Are you looking for a little culture?
Well, why not visit Bartlesville, host of the annual OK Mozart Festival. Festival's in full swing this week, but it's not the only culture you can capture in Bartlesville. You can also tour one of the most unusual homes in Oklahoma. It was built by noted architect Bruce Goff for Joe Price, who later donated the home to the University of Oklahoma. Channel 6 reporter Leslie Turnbull takes us on a tour.
Shinnecoin is Japanese for home of the faraway heart, and it looks a lot more like a home you would see in Japan than in Bartlesville, Oklahoma. The exterior walls of the house are made of pressed bark. Decorative walls surrounding the house, which are also seen inside, are made with Kentucky coal and glass pieces from the Liberty Glass plant near Okmulgee. The roof is anodized aluminum. The first thing you're asked to do when you come inside the home is take your shoes off. There's a basket at the front door with socks in it donated by OU. Now, the reason is twofold. First of all, when Joe Price lived here, he asked all his visitors to take their shoes off. Secondly, OU wants to keep the carpet and floors you're about to see in the best shape possible.
It was built in 3 stages, but this is the original.
Mary Wynn is the on-site tour coordinator at Shinnecoin.
This is Joe's bachelor pad. Joe Price had this room built, this part of the home built in 1955 when he was a bachelor and a student at OU. You'll see on the ceiling there are goose feathers. And hanging down cellophane rain. These are strips of cellophane, and at night it looks like it's raining. That's a table in the middle of the floor. Comes up out of the floor to about coffee table height.
And what style of architect is that? I mean, what?
Well, Bruce Goff said that the house would never go out of style because it had its own style. This is one of 3 pivoting doors that you're going through. Bruce Goff designed and made all of these doors himself, and he used little sequins and beads and marbles from Woolworth's. This is the original bedroom. The bed in here's cantilevered, no legs, the wall of stained glass windows. But when Joe had the home built, he told Bruce Goff that he wanted it to be inward looking without a lot of glass area. So these are the windows, and they are small. And this part of the home was built in 1966 after Joe got married. He married a Japanese lady, so throughout the rest of the home, you'll see more of an oriental flair. The screens in here are made of rice paper. And the table does go down to the floor where you can sit and eat Japanese style. Now we're going to go through the first of several hidden doorways into the museum. Joe Price has the 2nd largest collection of Edo period Japanese art, second only to the Emperor of Japan. And this is where he showed his art originally. And in the middle of the floor, there's a humidifying pool. This is full of water. It was necessary because all the Japanese art is done on rice paper.
The second and final edition was built from 1974 through 77. It included upstairs bedrooms for the couple's 2 children and what's called Joe's private loft. Only he had a key. But to see and hear more, you'll have to head to Bartlesville. Leslie Turnbull, Channel 6 News.
Tours are held at Shinnecoin year-round. For information on taking a tour or on any OK Mozart event, call 336-9800. Another OK Mozart event showcases a famous architect and Bartlesville landmark.
It's the Price Tower. The building was built for Joe's father, H.C. Price. The architect was the famous Frank Lloyd Wright. Tours continue year-round. Free mini-concerts are also offered at the Price Tower. Violinist Carrie McDermott is one of several festival chamber players. Another mini concert will be held tomorrow morning at 11 a.m.
And the heat is here, but will it stay?